Hello and welcome to From the Top Rope, presented by My Mom's Basement, presented by Barstool Sports. It is Robbie Fox and Jared Carrabis, and we are here for a very special episode. I think some could say like the most special episode ever, and it's not a big interview or anything like that. It's just the news that we have to talk about is so surreal, so mind-blowing. Still, even like, 72 hours removed, I still feel like I haven't fully processed the John Cena heel turn. Now, I did a video real quick the next morning, 15-minute stream of consciousness. It's on the channel, but people got my instant reaction. Jared, I want your instant reaction to the heel turn of a generation, maybe.
So I was in Arizona for spring training, and one of the guys on my team is a big wrestling fan, Jeremy. So he was at the dork party. He was one of the Prosecco boys with Steve, who does Section 10. So everyone else there, not a wrestling fan, they know who John Cena is, did not understand the significance. Like, I tried to explain it to you the best that I could to paint the picture, but I'm watching it, and of course I've got Nate. Nate's texting me being like, can't believe Dwayne's setting himself up to be the main event. And I was like, well,
I was agreeing with him too. Yeah.
But like, the counter to that is, don't you think they have something crazy planned if the show is called Elimination Chamber and the Rock segment is main eventing over the Elimination Chamber?
Like, that was just the Rock main evented over War Games, didn't he? He came out at the end of that with the fucking.
That was not main of, like, that was just part of the.
Well, I thought we were getting something like that again. I was like, why does this guy have to be in the fucking closing? I know. Listen, I was wrong. Hand up, I was wrong. Me and Nate were wrong on this one.
Very wrong. I was open to it just because they were, even on like Raw and SmackDown and on the pre-show, they were advertising The Rock's appearances like this is going to be an actual segment. So
yeah,
like the last time he came out and did the 1, 2, 3 thing, like that was impromptu and unexpected, whatever.
So you are expecting something big going into this segment.
They fucking
but I assume you weren't expecting this.
Triple H was like, the industry is never going to be the same after tonight. And the Rock and Cody segment is main eventing over the fucking match that the PLE is named after. So like, being completely honest, was I anticipating a John Cena heel turn? Never crossed my mind. Was not a thought in my brain. I didn't know what they were going to do. I was like, well, Roman has been off TV since the Rumble. Like, is something happening here? Like, I didn't know what it was. I was like, is the Punk favor coming into play here somehow?
I thought that was a possibility. And when he lost the Chamber match in the fashion that he did, that went out the window. But I very much thought going into the pay-per-view, maybe they're actually going through with the Punk thing.
Yeah. I absolutely was anticipating something big, some big swerve, because Triple H was telling it. He's like, industry is never going to be the same. How could you would set yourself up to get mocked forever if you're like, hey, the industry is never going to be the same after tonight. And it's not going to be the obvious thing. The Rock wants Cody's soul. It's like, okay, well, he's not going to do that. So what is going to happen? Like, who, what foil is there? When I tell you, Bob, like I tried to explain it. I had this pillow that it's like shaped like a cylinder that's probably about, I don't know, 2 feet, 3 feet long. And when Cena turned, I took it and, like a little autistic child, I wrapped it around my head and covered my ears because I was in such shock that
sensory overload.
I thought my brain was going to come out of my ears. The back of my skull was tingling. I was like smiling, but I wasn't happy. I was so taken aback and could not believe what I was witnessing. And like, I'm trying to like look around to someone in the room to relate to, like, does anyone sitting around me understand what's happening right now? And I'm just word vomiting to everyone else in the room, being like, you don't get it, dude. Like, he's been in the company for over 2 decades and he's never had a heel turn. Like, he came in as a bad guy, but he was kind of a tweener. Everyone kind of really liked this, heel character. So he wasn't a true heel. He wasn't a bad guy. And he just announced his retirement. and there's no way that he was going to turn heel. Why would he turn heel on his farewell tour? And look what he just did. And no one was, they were like, oh man, I'm glad you got out of this show what you were hoping to get.
Yep, that was Lady Fox, my fiance,
Yeah.
just being, really supportive there for me, not putting it down at all, but just being like, I know, crazy, right? And I'm like, I know in your mind, you don't know how crazy this is. It's been 2 decades, Make-A-Wish Foundation, this, that. He said he would never do it. The heel turn promo. Like, I was doing the same exact thing you were. And were you confused by Travis Scott being in the ring?
Oh my God.
Because I was confused as hell about that the whole time.
I was trying so hard to not let it ruin the moment. I was like, because everyone was like, oh, so then what? Did you have a problem with Dennis Rodman in the NWO? And I was like, Dennis Rodman was not in the ring when Hogan was the third man. He just wasn't.
Yeah. And if
like,
he
that
was,
came
it would have
later
been
on.
crazy. Like, we're going to look back on this in 30 years, 40 years even. Like, knock on wood. Let's hope we make it that long.
Yeah.
We're going to tell our kids, maybe grandkids, about the night that John Cena turned heel. And when they're going to be like, oh, can I see a video? We're going to show it to them. And they're going to be like, wait, who's that guy? And we're going to be like, oh, that's Travis Scott. Did you see the news report today that came out about him?
But that he's training to have a match?
Oh, no. He ruptured Cody's eardrum and gave him a black eye with that smack.
So that smack was crazy. Even
crazy. In the moment I knew it. Before I saw the other angle, I knew it.
I'm as big of a Cody hater as it gets, but when it's almost like, trying to think of an example. It's like we can bully him because he's one of ours, but like someone from the outside, like I don't like that. Like even as someone that genuinely is a Cody hater, when he smacked him for real as hard as he could, I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what are you doing?
I want to know in Cena's mind, like Cena didn't react. He's a fucking pro. But I want to know in his mind when that smack landed, if he was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Like Cody turned in a way that wasn't like, I'm selling this smack. It was in a way like, oh my God, don't do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was weird seeing him there for it. I did say all will be forgiven for me with Travis Scott if he comes out with a John Cena theme song, John Cena featured on a Travis Scott song, and he gets John Cena back on the Billboard charts in 2025. If he could get Cena playing on the radio, top of Spotify, this is fucking Spotify, John Cena, Travis Scott standing there looking hard, all's forgiven.
Well, Bob, in the moment, I was sitting there saying, why is Travis Scott there? Why is he a part of this? It's taking away. Like I was trying to ignore him so that I could just fully just appreciate the moment. But then I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, everything's for a reason, right? Like everything has been very intentional. Like you go back to last WrestleMania season where The Rock is beating the shit out of Cody in the rain. He's bloodied up and you can see John Cena's face on the truck in the background.
Yep.
Seems intentional. Well, I'm like, okay, so the Travis Scott connection, his song is the theme song for WrestleMania. Okay, it's The Rock. He's everybody's boss. He's the final boss. Okay, I get it. Corporate connection. But then, like, Travis Scott is just beating the shit out of Cody Rhodes. So it's almost like, all right, so he's like Travis Scott turned heel too. Like no one gives him credit for,
because the last time we saw him, he was with Jey Uso yeeting. So
that's my point. I think if you're The Rock and you're going to Cody and you're saying, if you sell your soul to me, this is what you get. You can be champion. You can be my champion. You can be in movies. Like look at, Roman has gotten jobs in film because of me. And he goes down the line. All these people have gotten roles in film, Hollywood. And, you can come out to, you can have Travis Scott do your music and be associated with one of the most famous rappers on planet Earth. And it, he did the 3 and everyone's like, all right, that's for Cena. He did the throat slit, but then he held up a 2. If there's a third man, wouldn't it be Jey? Because then if they help him win the world heavyweight title at WrestleMania over Gunther, then he had like the Travis Scott connection. It's like, well, now Jay's the world heavyweight champion. He's in our faction. John Cena is the WWE champion. He's in our faction. And it's, I don't know.
I'm going to say something crazy because I was thinking the same thing about the third man. And I thought about Jey as well. Like, I think that there's a possibility. I don't think it's necessarily the way they're going.
It should be Punk.
Well, I was thinking something even crazier. The last time we saw trucks in the background, it was John Cena and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, I did
What if
see
the
that.
glass shatters and we think Stone Cold Steve Austin's coming out to save it, and he pulls a Hogan, and it's the fucking third man, and he starts stomping a mud hole in Cody or some shit? At that point, I don't know how you could, like, is Cody going to beat Stone Cold, The Rock, and John Cena? Like, you
I
need to,
don't
like,
think
come up with
so.
something crazy like that. But I don't know. We're in this realm of WrestleMania season, where anything can happen. Like, John Cena just turned heel. There's nothing out of the realm of possibility. I would be less surprised by Stone Cold coming back as a heel than I was on Saturday night when John Cena turned heel. I said in my lifetime of watching wrestling, I think the only thing that is even close or maybe over even succeeds the shock of John Cena turning heel was the streak ending. The streak, I
Yeah.
think, is number one because I thought
Yep.
something was going wrong at the time. I was like, they're going to restart the match, right? They're going to play music. Like, what's going on here? Did something go wrong? Did he forget to kick out? When I was in that level of denial, that's true shock. I was like that fan in the front row, and he's like, but this is a close number two. My gasp, and I want to know everything about it now. And I'm sure you're the same way. Like, I want to see an in-depth interview with John Cena after
When did they
WrestleMania
decide
season's
to do
over.
this?
When did
Yeah.
they decide? Was
Who
there
knew?
ever a moment, where you came close before this that we didn't know about? We know about the time in like 2011, 2012 or whatever. Who knew? When did they decide?
The second Rock match, right?
I don't even remember. It might have been the second Rock match when he said he got the singlets made and he had the fucking other theme. Yes.
He
So, like,
wanted
we
to
knew
turn
that
for
was
that.
close then. Were you ever close again? What made you want to do it? Was it your final run? You always knew you wanted to do it? Or did you see how much fun Roman and Rock have been having as heels and how they're the biggest stars in wrestling as heels? It's like, fuck it. If Rock could go be a heel, but also be the face of whatever and sell Red One tickets. And that's another thing. The Rock is still on thin ice with me. Like, this was a great segment. And again, I feel like, all right, hand up. I should have fucking waited to see how it plays out with The Rock. But him going in the press conference afterwards with his fucking Terramana, wasn't that a great scene we just delivered to the people?
Yeah,
where
I don't like
played
that.
the character of the final boss. We know it's fake, bro. Like,
Yeah.
we get it. We're smart enough to understand there's a separation between Dwayne Johnson and the final boss, Rock. Don't come out 5 minutes after the pay-per-view's off the air sucking your own dick about it. Like, just let us have that moment. Let us have that night. John Cena came out, dropped the fucking mic. It was great.
Yeah.
That was what we needed. Like, he should
Yeah.
have came out with The Rock. The Rock should have spoken for him or something. And he should have continued that final boss narrative through it. He's so desperate, I feel like, to be liked, you know, in a weird way where it's like, bro, you're like the best heel going right now. If you take his final boss run last year, like leading into WrestleMania, it's the best shit in the world. He wasn't going live the second after he bloodied Cody in the rain to be like, and scene. Like, you know, like,
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't like it. I understand, like, people were complaining the other day when he was making that appearance on SmackDown to pitch the whole, like, I want your soul thing, and he was like, man, I love playing this final boss character, and people were complaining about him tweeting that. But I get it. Like, he is the most followed person on social media in America, so I get that he is like, hey, you know, if you're a fan of my movies, then check out this shit that I'm doing with WWE. If you've never watched wrestling before, I get it when he does it to his audience on social media. But when you do it to our audience, when we're already wrestling fans and we're already, if you're tuning into a WWE press conference, like you are, like you gotta, like, you finish watching the show on Peacock and then you've got to go over to YouTube to watch it. And there was like 77,000 concurrents when I first tuned in at the start of it. So, like, a lot of people are tuning in for this. Like, those are diehard fans. Like, you don't need to be like, man, this shit is fake as fuck, huh?
Yeah, he's trying to get, like, it feels like he's not even speaking to us in that moment. It feels like he's trying to get a clip that he could post to, you know, his audience or whatever. It's so strange. I also liked how when they went off the air, they, like, came back for a second just to show Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, like, getting Cody out of the ring, and he's all fucking bloodied. I also think Cena clobbered him with that title a couple of times. Like, Cena hit him twice with the title.
They tried to do it the hard way. I don't think
Yeah.
Cody bladed or anything.
I don't think he did either because it was so quick. And he could have, because they cut to a quick shot of Cena, and I'm sure Cody's such a pro with it that he could have given himself a quick swipe. But I think they might have gone hard way with it because it was a cut over his eye, too.
Yeah. And if anyone's going to be able to land like a direct hit on your face to where you can do it the hard
Yeah.
way, like Cena's a guy that you can trust with
Cena
that for
knows how to
sure.
do it.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I know that we're mainly talking about the Cena heel turn, but I think the Sammy KO match really needed blood, but now I get why they didn't do that, because they're not going to do 2 blood spots in the same
2
night.
blood spots, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something that completely got overshadowed. I feel so bad for everyone on this card, really. I thought the women's chamber match was good. I
Yeah.
thought Sammy and KO was incredible. A
That was
fucking
great.
war. And
That was the match of the night.
it was. And I have a real pet peeve with hardcore matches and unsanctioned matches that go from one big spot to the next. They set up like 3 tables, do a spot, set up another thing, do a spot. And it feels like you're just like going from one spot to another. There's a couple matches in AEW, like a couple John Moxley matches, even a couple Swerve matches that I didn't love that felt like that.
Mhm.
This just felt like a war the whole time. There were false finishes I legitimately thought were going to be the end of the match. There were spots that made me cringe. We heard the barbed wire was not gimmicked at the
No.
request of the talent, which is
Yeah.
just like not surprising at this point with Sammy and KO in fucking Toronto.
Yeah.
But oh my God, devastatingly brutal match in every way. I thought the Orton return hit. I thought that was good. They'll obviously do that at WrestleMania.
Triple threat
Kevin
or
versus
just
Orton.
1v1?
I think 1v1 because Kevin and Orton were in a triple threat with Logan last year. I
Yeah.
don't think
What
you
does
run it
that leave
back.
for
I mean,
Sammy
it
then?
doesn't really matter. I don't know. Is Sammy gonna miss WrestleMania?
You
Because he got
can't have
fucked
him
up
off the
so
card.
bad in this match with the double pop-up power bomb on the apron. He also had a
He's
good
fine.
save in the end there when Kevin like lost him for a second and
Oh,
Sammy
yeah.
just like fought his way out of it. It was a good like botch save. In that moment, I was like, he's a fucking pro in that ring. But yeah, they got overshadowed. Even the men's main event, which I thought was great, got overshadowed by this. Like there were some spots in that. The CM Punk Cena first meeting in 12, 13, 14 years, whatever it's been, that was amazing. All the reversals. You sent me someone put side by side like a 2011 sequence,
Yeah.
the sequence they did at the chamber. That was cool to see. There were cool moments in it. But like when John Cena turns heel, we ain't talking about anything else but John Cena turning heel. I was
No.
almost surprised they didn't have like the shirt ready to go. I assume he'll come out with the shirt. I think he's due back March 17th. That's going to be the first Raw he's back on, which I'm a little bummed about because me and Nate are going next week at MSG. And we were
MSG,
hoping
yeah.
we would get the fucking first appearance of heel Cena. But I
Mhm.
think we're going to get enough with the steel cage match between Punk and Rollins. And I think that equals the return of the one tribal chief, the original tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
I was just gonna ask you that. When do you think he comes back? You think it's at MSG?
I think it's Raw. Yeah, I think he comes back. Maybe Rollins does something where he's about to escape the cage. Roman's music hits and he goes back into the cage, GTS, some shit like that. And then you set up that triple threat for Mania. And by the way, let's talk about this because I was a big man in the beginning of this podcast. I put my hand up. I said I was wrong.
Mhm.
Let's talk about moments where Jared Carrabis might have to put his hand up and say I was wrong because this guy texted me.
Fuck yourself.
This guy texted me not even a week ago. And he goes, I have a take, Bob. I go, what's your take?
Oh, yeah.
He goes, I might not watch WrestleMania this year. And I was
Yeah.
like, what? I said, that's like not watching the World Series when the Red Sox are in it because you've got CM Punk and Roman Reigns likely going to be in the exact same match. You're 2 guys. This is the fucking pinnacle. At this point, Jared, would you say you're going to watch WrestleMania?
I'm gonna check it out, Bob. I'm gonna check it
You
out.
were down on the product just last week.
Yeah, I mean the Cena heel turn changes everything. I think Roman feels. I know that they keep talking about like the Punk, Seth, Roman triple threat, but right now to me he feels displaced because he's been off
Roman
TV.
does?
Yes, like he's been
But
off
he's
TV
been off
for
TV
too long.
because he got double curb stomped.
I get that, but it's like you don't have a title in this triple threat match, so now it's like it's like a
just about
blood. It's a
hatred, bro.
3-way blood feud.
But it
But
is.
But like we need Roman on TV if we're gonna further the blood
He'll
feud.
be back on Monday, brother.
That's what you
And
think.
they furthered the blood feud this Monday. Like we could get into that too. CM Punk kicks Monday Night Raw off with one of the best Raw opening promos I've seen in a long time. Even the way they shot it when he comes out of the car, walks straight to the ring, like beelines, not even doing the it's clobbering time, not really engaging with fans. And then he just
No.
calls everyone out. You bald frauds. That was
Yeah.
such a good line. He's calling everyone out. Then they do the brawl. This is the perfect blood feud. It's literal hatred between Roman and Seth, literal hatred between Seth and Punk. And then you have the three-way of, oh, Punk needs a favor. He hasn't exhausted all avenues to get it to the main event. He dropped that little nugget on Monday Night Raw. It's like, oh, maybe the Paul Heyman favor. Then you set up the possibility of, oh my God, who's Heyman going to side with in the WrestleMania main event? Who's this going to have? This is going to be fucking amazing. This is going to be almost as good as Cena versus Cody Rhodes. I think that. And by the way, those that still think Jey Uso versus Gunther is going to headline one of these nights, I'm sorry to disappoint. They are not.
No. And Triple H said as much. He said, no one is guaranteed a main event. We're going with the hottest storylines once we get there. So according to him, at least publicly, nothing's decided, but obviously Cena and Cody is going to headline.
That's night 2, no doubt.
Yes.
And I think night 1 has to be Punk, Cody, or Punk, Rollins, and Reigns. Like, the crowd was hot for them last night. Every time security broke them up, there would be the boos. And every time they got back together, huge pop. When they were in the ring, when they like each snuck into the ring, that was great. And it's also one of the best tropes in the history of wrestling. Like I prefer a locker room clearing brawl when the wrestlers can't even keep them apart. But when you have the fucking referees coming out and everything, I think that's an old From the Top Rope thing too. I think old grapple fucks will remember my love for locker room clearing brawls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we haven't had one in a while. I think the last one I can recall was Cena and Lesnar, when Lesnar caught Cena in the mouth for real.
Yeah, that one was amazing. We've definitely had them since then, but I can't remember off the top of my head who they've been for.
Yeah.
I think honestly, Ambrose and Rollins might have had one during their feud.
Yeah.
Post Shield. I think that happened.
Yeah.
Another shocking thing I thought worth mentioning on this podcast, I thought shocking, Io Sky beats Rhea Ripley pretty clean for the title last night in the main event. I mean, clean in the sense that, like, she didn't cheat to win. She was distracted, I guess. She was yelling at Bianca.
Oh,
what do you mean?
Should have been a disqualification, Bob. Bianca
I
Belair,
guess you could say that. You could say that.
Put her hands on Rhea Ripley outside the ring. Could have killed her, honestly. She pushed her into the ring apron on the outside, and she went spine first into the... She could have been paralyzed. The fact that she was able to continue the match is a miracle. I would have called for the bell. I think that's probably where this is going.
Stephanie Carr, was she the referee? I thought that was actually a good move, though. I was like, oh, they're kind of giving some depth and layers to, like, the referee doesn't want to call a championship match like this. Now Rhea's got a legit, like, Rhea could bring up all the points you're bringing up.
Oh, she will. We've already discussed it. So I think they have to make this a triple threat, only for the fact that if you want to have Io Sky go into Mania as champion, fine, I guess. And to emphasize a point that I think you made via text last night, like, we're now at the point where anything can happen. I think we had kind of fallen into a trend with PLEs and storylines where everything that we thought was going to happen is ultimately what did happen. And now we're just in the, I don't know what the fuck's going on part of WrestleMania season, which is...
I love that.
I love being there. That's what I
can't remember another time where I felt like this about WrestleMania season. Like, I don't know if there's ever been a time in my life where it's been this unpredictable. Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble, even starting there, like this entire road to WrestleMania, I don't know what's coming next.
Yeah. Also, like, if there is a third man, now that I keep going back and forth between if it could be Punk or if it could be Jay, but now I'm thinking the Travis Scott connection to Jay, and then the fact that Cena was the last man with Jay in the Rumble, and it like, what if his goal was, all right, let's make sure Jay wins the Rumble and then I'll win the Chamber, and then that's how we end up in title match.
But they were going at it in the Rumble. It'd be hard to
kinda
like, at that point.
I mean, Punk and Cena were going at it in the Chamber.
Yeah, but it's not like they were aligned at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
no, but you know,
maybe they aligned after the fact. You're saying
maybe they just had a plan, Bob. Maybe they just had a plan. Because other than that, in terms of shock factor, the only other one that would blow our doors off would be if it was just Austin. Like, if
Cody
if Cody and then on top of that, fucking Ric Flair was yapping his gums on Twitter the other day about how he doesn't
I
want
saw
Cena
that.
to pass
Yeah.
him. It's like if you just
I think
made
that ain't Ric Flair, right? That's got to be a social guy trying to get his name back up in the headlines.
I don't know. I think Rick probably fires him off from poolside in Florida or where
Do you
the
think he
fuck he
does the
is.
Trump thing where he like dictates to someone like say this and then they type it for him?
I could see that also being the case. But if you made a faction to go up against Cody at WrestleMania, where it's like, hey, you're going up against like the faction could literally just be called Mount Rushmore. It's The
Yeah.
Rock, Cena, Austin, and Ric Flair aligned against you, so that Cena can get
But
his
then can he
17th
call in
title
his
win.
favors from like the Undertaker? Can the Undertaker just be Cody's fucking guardian angel or guardian demon where whenever he needs a fucking
I
audible,
guess.
he can call for the dong?
Like, think
Call
about it.
for the
Like,
dong. That should be an Undertaker shirt.
all for the dong. Who would be like if you're looking at Flair, Rock, Austin, and
And Cena
Cena, like who would be the
would be
opposite end of
Cody's
the spectrum?
opposition.
Yeah, because like Austin's greatest rival is The Rock,
The
and
Rock, yeah.
The Rock's greatest rival arguably is Austin or Cena.
Bam, 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 bam,
Oh God.
Hulk Hogan comes out with him.
I saw somebody say that Hulk Hogan should be Logan Paul's manager just to take
Oh,
it to
that's
the
a good
next
idea.
level of heat. That is
A
brilliant. That is
good
brilliant.
idea.
Yeah. I mean, they
Yeah.
know
We
each
talked
other.
about taking Cena's heat. Do they?
Yeah,
Oh,
Hogan
he's
was
done his
on Logan
podcast,
Paul's
hasn't he?
podcast. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. We talked about something that would add heat to Cena because I think they got to be careful. Like last night when Cena's name got mentioned by Punk, he got big boos. But I'm under the impression that Cena as a heel is going to get cheered unless he's doing something dastardly to someone we love. So
You
we
gotta
talked about
beat
it.
the shit out of R-Truth. Just
You
beat
got to do it
him
with R-Truth.
unconscious. Yeah.
R-Truth's tweets have been so funny. He's crashing out on Twitter. He's tweeting at Brandy like, let's not jump to any conclusions here. You have him do a segment that's very funny. You let him show his comedic chops, and he's like, I can't believe this. My childhood hero. He turned on us. What the hell, C Nation? And you have Cena come out just like he was at the Elimination Chamber, dead serious, and beat the fuck out of R-Truth. Bloody him up, leave him absolutely disheveled, have people running out, EMTs checking on him, stretcher him out of the building. You need to make Cena hateable. I think there's only a few names that people will boo Cena against. It's like R-Truth, Sami Zayn, probably, Jey Uso, maybe, Reigns, Punk. We'll see about Cody. I hope that they'll boo him with Cody. I feel like they set that up perfectly, but I don't know. People are gonna. It's weird. His whole career, they wanted to boo him for being a face. They're
Yeah.
gonna want to cheer him for being a heel now.
I think it's going to be almost unavoidable at Mania just because there's so many smarks in that
I
crowd.
think you're gonna get a classic "Let's Go Cena." Cena sucks.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
That'd be
I think
cool.
we're gonna hear that.
But if you think about the logic behind why John Cena turned heel, there's a lot of heels in this company that are heels right now, but their logic makes sense. Where it's just like,
True.
I don't blame you for how you feel. Kevin Owens is one. Seth Rollins is, I still think he's more of a tweener. He's not like a pandering.
He is. He's leaning heel now, but he's a tweener for sure.
But he's right about a lot of the stuff that is heel behavior. He's right. Kevin Owens, he's kind of right. And now John Cena, he's kind of right. It's like I did all these fucking Make-A-Wishes. You guys booed me. I haven't won a singles match since 2018.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about the golden shovel. Like I came back, put everyone over. I'm going fucking bald. I've seen 1,000 memes about it. Like you guys make fun of my bald spot. Like, I feel like Cena has every right to be like,
justified a little.
Fuck you guys. Yeah.
It does. Like, the losing streak makes the most sense to me for why he sold his soul to The Rock. Like he wants that one final title that bad that he'll do whatever it takes. And I appreciated him capitalizing on Punk getting curb stomped at the end of the chamber.
Yeah.
Like old Cena would never do something like that.
No.
And him putting the choke on, the way he like did the weird choke, he still doesn't know how to choke anyone out.
Did you hear?
He
said,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that was good. And in the moment, I'm like, oh, I guess he's desperate for the title, so he's willing to do that, but he'll say, I'm sorry. No, that was just the first inkling of heel Cena kind of leaking out. And even he
Yeah.
kind of had a serious face during the entrance. Oh, that's another guy he could get booed against. I saw the
Stu,
memes.
if he beats
Stu.
the shit out of
When he
Stu,
comes out, yeah, doesn't even talk to Stu, fucking
just
shoves
kicks
his
the camera.
camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Like, that's
Yeah.
going to be great. Do you think he changes his gear? I think he goes like Black
Yeah.
Jordan or something.
I absolutely think, because he did that interview with Chris Van Vliet where
Yeah,
he talked about what he would have done had he turned heel. I believe it was 2013. I believe it was the second Rock match at
it's
Mania.
probably right.
He's like, I've got the gear, I've got the theme, and I truly believe that it's something that he always wanted to do in terms of like character work, and any reason why he probably stayed babyface his entire career had a lot to do with Vince. Well, Vince doesn't have a say in
True.
this anymore. I think that there was certainly a period of time where he had to stay babyface to kind of like not necessarily save the company, but like he had to carry the company. It's not like
Yes.
they would have floundered
Nobody
or
else was doing it.
no, like no one else wanted to take the brass ring. Like he was the face of the company for a very long time and kept them above water during a time period where like wrestling wasn't cool anymore. Those
His
were the
merch
years that
alone selling with kids, like, people don't realize how beneficial and massive that was for the company and the industry. Like, the
yes,
fact that in his heyday, he was working every live event as well. He was doing
yes,
every fucking house show, every TV. It was like he was the guy, and the number 2 merch seller wasn't hitting half of his numbers.
no, no. And so in that sense, I get it. But those were the years that I tuned out.
Mhm.
Like I tuned out once Kane took his mask off in 03. I came back when he put it back on in 2011. So
And that's
but
like
peak
my
Cena.
heyday too, where it's like I grew up with this guy as my like I remember vividly WrestleMania 20, John Cena versus the Big Show.
XX
He fucking
2004.
Yes, he grabs the fucking chain, hits Big Show,
MSG.
he bounces off the ropes, and he comes back, big FU before it was the attitude adjustment. US title match. I remember being like 2004, like, this is the fucking guy. I was there in 2007 at SummerSlam for the first ever John Cena versus Randy Orton pay-per-view match. I was there throughout the years. I was there at that horrible steel cage match with Bray Wyatt at Extreme Rules where the little kid sang to him. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
God
yeah,
damn it.
yeah.
It was the first time I ever saw John Cena lose.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing on Saturday. Like, I can't say that enough. It was like my brain is wired to just not believe that that would ever happen, especially on the farewell tour. Now it feels like, I know you're not a big Marvel guy, but they've recently announced Robert Downey Jr. is coming back in the next couple Avengers movies
Iron
to
Man.
play Doctor Doom.
Oh.
Iron Man playing the villain. So everyone's like, oh my God, now you flip the dynamic. Now, instead of him and Peter Parker having this like father-son type relationship, now he's the fucking enemy. Now he's going to break everyone's heart. Now you have face Kevin Owens versus heel John Cena, face CM Punk versus heel John Cena, face Randy Orton versus heel John Cena. You flip the dynamic in the one last run. The only thing that breaks my heart a little bit about it, we only got like 9 months left of John Cena's career. So like I kind of want this to be like Hollywood Hogan, and we have the next couple of years of John Cena being an awesome heel. Someone tweeted, we're pregnant with a heel John Cena. We have 9 months to go, and then we're done.
Yeah. That's if you believe that, like the most heel thing he could do is be like, fuck you. Like, I'm going to keep
I'm
going.
sticking around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. And so here's a question for you. Let's do a little fantasy booking WrestleMania. Do you
Mhm.
put the title on him
Yeah.
in the main event? Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
have
think you have
WrestleMania
to.
ending with him and Rock and Travis Scott standing over Cody's dead body.
Yeah. Cause how many times have we had like, a baby face mania? Like it's been
We
a
had a
lot of
big
that
one last
recently.
year.
Yeah. Like it's always like the
The year
happy
before
send
was
off.
Roman.
Yeah. But that was correct. Like I was happy about that. So I think there's been a lot of babyface happy send offs, and it's not even like it wouldn't be a happy send off. It would be something where people would be like, wow. Like it's not like, God
Yeah.
damn it,
I
why?
think
Like
my
that was the
nephew, who's
wrong
going to his first
call.
WrestleMania, I don't think he would be happy. My 10-year-old nephew, I think he was pretty heartbroken over that because he's also not a Cena guy, you know? That's
Yeah.
like an interesting thing about the 10-year-olds of today. They didn't really grow up with John Cena that much. Like, he's been
No.
away for a lot of the last few years. So
Yeah.
if you were to go with the heel winning in the main event of night 2, I would
Mhm.
assume you go with a baby face winning in the main event of night 1. I would have Roman win that triple threat. pinning Seth, probably. But it's like, I don't know. Seth took the pinfall in night 1 of last year's WrestleMania. Do you have Punk win that one? I don't know.
I hate to say it, Bob. I don't fucking care. I don't.
Really?
It sucks because like the way that I look at it is if it doesn't have a title, which it won't, then it's hard to care. And there'll be
It's
no
hard for me to care about the matches with the title, though. Like, and if it's not Cody's title, I don't really care about the titles that much.
I agree, but the
Like, I don't care
title
about
is being
Gunther
held
and Jay
hostage
more
by
because there's a
Cody right
title.
now. The title's being held hostage by Cody, so that's why this program
That's
doesn't
crazy.
have the title.
Being held hostage by the most hot program in the history of
Oh
wrestling in our
yeah, no,
lifetime.
it's being held by a paper champion. He's defended the title like 5 times in the last year.
He's defended it a bunch. He had one of the
5
matches of the
times.
year last year.
He's defended, I believe, 6 times is the correct number, which
He
is
fucking
crazy. For a
he took a crazy ladder bump
365-day
in
reign
that
to
one.
defend your title 6 times is fucking crazy, Bob.
It sounds like you're talking about Roman Reigns right now.
Roman
Jared.
Reigns is the biggest star in the industry, and he was down to defending like 6 times a year after what, his 4th fucking
Roman
year
Reigns
of
could
being
barely get a
champion?
speaking line in Hobbs and Shaw.
That was before. That was the Big Dog. The Big Dog was a shitty actor. But the Tribal Chief is a Hollywood megastar, and you know that.
Yeah, I know
This
that.
this triple threat match, as someone who is a huge Roman Reigns fan and a huge CM Punk fan, it brings no resolution to any feud. Like,
We'll see,
Roman
though. We
Reigns,
don't know that yet.
Roman Reigns has never defeated Seth Rollins in a one-on-one. Is that correct? No, they're 2-2 against each other. Lifetime?
Probably. I know Rollins has beat him one-on-one for sure.
Yes.
Twice, at least. The Money in the Bank match where he won the title, reversal, spear, pedigree, and then obviously the DQ, right?
Yeah, Roman, he never beat Seth in a singles match as champion. I want to say they're 2-2 lifetime against each other, but it's like, all right, who do we care? I don't know. Like, I want to care really bad.
Seth
I want
cost
to
him
care.
the title at WrestleMania last year.
Yeah, but like, it's I wish I could just focus on one story at a time. There's too many moving parts. Like
Jared's
Punk
brain can't handle a triple threat match.
I can't. The Punk Roman storyline, great. The Seth Punk, great.
Yeah.
Roman Seth, great.
Yeah, exactly. That's why this is such a good triple threat match. It all clicks like a puzzle. It's not just, oh, let's fucking throw someone in here. Like,
all right, then tell me
Sky, Bianca, Rhea is good, but like it doesn't click like this.
This better be the fucking best promo video package since.
Oh, it will be, bro.
My way to the highway. It better be the best fucking one since that. It better be the best one since that.
It can be. They should reuse that song.
You have 13 years of library to sift through to tell this fucking story. You better tell it right from the beginning.
Now you have CM Punk. You could have CM Punk narrate it. You have like one of the best promo guys when he's at the top of his game.
If Ryback it doesn't show up in this fucking video, it's not done correctly. Ryback is the piece that connects all of this together, and you know that.
Maybe we need, if they don't nail it, we'll need a grapple fuck to do their own, or I could edit my own. That includes Ryback. It'll be set to my way, and it'll be the greatest promo package since WrestleMania 17. Were you watching live at WrestleMania 17, by the way?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How would you compare the Stone Cold heel turn shock to the John Cena heel turn shock?
I was too young to like understand, I guess. I was more just like the way that I've talked about it, like with Kane, being a fan of someone is like I've just always treated it like a sports team. It's like, all right, I guess we're a bad guy now. You know, like it was not like, damn it, why? Yeah. And then I don't like I think it must be cool, I guess, to just watch WWE as a neutral fan who just
that's kind of how I was growing up, if I'm being honest.
Cheer the good guys,
if someone
boo the
turned
bad
heel
guys.
on me, I was kind of out on them. Like Edge, I remember him going back and forth a few times. Randy Orton, obviously, going back and forth a few times. Like, I kind of wish I got to watch this as a kid, because I know my 10-year-old nephew was like, what's going on here? Like, I wish I had that, because I wanted to be like, why, John, why? But in my mind, I'm like, this is one of the greatest things I've ever watched. Like, this is something that I'll literally only get to see once in my lifetime. Someone that for 20 straight years played the same character, and then during their retirement tour flipped it on its head. Like, people that have been alive that got to see Hogan do it. If you got to see Hogan do it and you got to see John Cena do it, like, that's crazy that you got two of these in one lifetime, because that shouldn't be possible.
Yeah. And I had a very viral comment on the WWE
Oh, you
Instagram
did?
page.
It's like one of the top comments, if not the top comment.
Last time I checked, it had over 20,000 likes. And my inspiration for that comment, as you know, Bob, comes from the X-Pac betrayal of Kane, which it shaped the rest of my life, really. And I've told X-Pac this as we have interviewed him on this very show.
Yeah.
X-Pac and Kane. I mean, first of all, Kane, my favorite wrestler of all time. X-Pac, I loved DX. And then when Kane blended with DX, I was like, this is fucking amazing. I'm riding high. And then Kane got a smoking hot girlfriend in Tori. And I was like, what could be better than this? And then all of a sudden, X-Pac is fucking Kane's girlfriend on Christmas, by the way.
On Christmas.
The X-Pac and Tori Christmas story, as I recall it being.
Birthday of Jesus.
Yep. And so after that, I was like, man, like, Kane didn't talk before this. He didn't have human emotions before this. He couldn't show love for the opposite sex before this. Like, you humanized us, and then you fucked our girl and kicked us in the nuts and just left us to be this monster. So now, me being a diehard Kane fan, I'm just like, I guess we're a monster now. Like, I would show up to fourth grade, walk in the classroom. People be like, why do you look so fucking mad? I'm just like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, it's just, that's you ride or die with your guy.
Classroom.
Yes. Like, you ride or die with your guy.
I told that story recently of the betrayal you felt from Kane and X-Pac. You know the Cinema Lord podcast, the Minifan podcast? Have you heard of this?
Mm-mm.
He's like one of the big Minifans. Does a podcast called Cinema Lord.
What's his name?
We talked a lot about wrestling. I don't know his real name, Cinema Lord.
Oh, that's his. Yeah. So I'm probably going to yell at. The last time I didn't know who someone was in the Minifan world, it was Tom Shattuck.
Big Minifan. Well, I'm a big Minifan guy as well. I'm on Team Minahan for the dozen now. Me and Kirk are like that now.
Yeah. So Tom Shattuck had a fucking mental breakdown because I didn't know who he was. And then he started talking about how, like, is he an ex-convict with all those tattoos? And I was like, buddy, what?
You?
Yeah, me.
No, you don't got the balls to be an ex-convict. No offense.
Brother, I don't go outside to be an ex-convict.
Hey, that's what I mean. Yeah, there's no chance you could be. You're an ex-convict by, like, not going to jury duty or something like that because you didn't want to leave the house.
Right.
But I did tell him the story of, like, we interviewed X-Pac a few times, and, like, the last time I interviewed X-Pac was solo, and I think he even started by being like, "Hey, how's Jared? Is he over it?" Like,
no, I'm not over it, dude.
He's not. You don't realize X-Pac. Like, you joke, Sean, but you ruined his life.
No, and I also that's what I was implying when I commented on the video for John Cena's heel turn.
What was your comment? Yeah, read your comment.
Paraphrasing, I said, you just created a lifetime of trust issues for an entire generation. Because if you were a kid and you grew up, if you're a kid now or you were a kid that grew up loving John Cena, he turned on you. X-Pac turned on me. That's different. John Cena turned on you.
I posted this picture. I mean, me at WrestleMania 29. Look at that sign. My sister made it. My lovely sister. We went to Party City. We got like a John Cena tablecloth. We cut that out. Our time is now. I had another sign with the Brahma Bull on it. I've told this story before. Big Brahma Bull, and then I had the big fucking Ghostbusters no through it. I held that up during his entrance. Someone threw a bottle cap at me, and my brother was like, all right, sit down.
Yeah.
But now imagine that was fucking WrestleMania 29. Imagine dropping in to little fucking 13, 14-year-old Robbie, however old I was, probably 15 by that point. I don't even remember how old I was. Imagine dropping in and being like, bro, WrestleMania 41, heel John Cena is going to be aligned with heel Rock in the main event. Like, that would have blown my mind. I mean, even reading the headline I tweeted this morning, imagine just dropping in just a few years ago and reading the headline to yourself, Travis Scott injured Cody Rhodes during John Cena's heel turn. What?
Well, we would have been like, who's Travis Scott? And I feel like probably. It's I'm with you. It's the second most shocked I've ever been. I to a T
You
had the
agree
same
Shriek would be
reaction.
number one?
Yes, because I had the same reaction. I was sitting next to my cousin, and I was like, "That, like, what happened? Like, did he get dropped on his head? Is he's unconscious? Did Brock like go into business for himself here and like he held Taker to the mat and didn't let him kick out? I was like, something went wrong here. It did not have the feeling of this was planned. This is what we wanted to do. Because the other thing that people forget when you're watching that match in real time, they didn't hit Brock's music right
It
away.
was brilliant too. Looking back, brilliant.
They didn't do the music. They didn't do the ring announcement. They just let everyone be like, what the
And the
fuck
first thing they
just
did
happened?
was just they put like the 21-1, no music behind it, just the
Yeah.
graphic on the screen. And even seeing that was like, oh, wait, they made the graphic. I think this is real. Like, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure the streak just ended. That was still looking back. I could get The Rock fucking,
Yeah.
I could get chills talking about that. And I
Yeah.
loved CM Punk calling him out for that shit because I'm so tired of that shit too with the fucking goosebumps.
It's real though. I mean, if you they zoom in, he really does have goosebumps.
Yeah. I'm sure he does. When you get a fucking 20,000 seat arena to pop for you, even bigger in Toronto, 60,000 or something like that. And by the way, crowd not very good in Toronto. I was expecting them to be much better. And I don't know if it was
The crowd mic was not good.
yeah.
I think.
I think it was stadiums. It's harder to hear stadiums than arenas, obviously.
Yeah.
But when we're now accustomed to like WWE International PLE, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. There were barely any moments during the night where I felt like there was like a huge pop or huge reaction. Obviously, the main event, you got a few big ones during KO and Sammy. But like, aside from that, I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah. I that's got to be a crowd mic situation because
It has to be,
Toronto,
right? Yeah.
that was Hogan Rock. Like
Yeah, like
Toronto's
the
a great
greatest
wrestling
crowd
town.
in the history of wrestling, Hogan Rock,
Yeah.
WrestleMania 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, WrestleMania 6. Edge
Yeah,
and Christian in the crowd.
some dummy in the press conference was like, "Hey, Triple H, are we ever gonna get a WrestleMania in Toronto?" And he was just like, "What the fuck?"
I hate calling out dumb questions at the press conference because I have had my fair share of them. I once asked Conor McGregor, like, are your kids going to watch this fight? People hated that one. But someone
they
asked
hate
The
that?
Rock. It was a stupid question. But someone went to The Rock and they were like, what's your Waffle House order? Bro, you just watched like the greatest heel turn ever that The Rock is involved in. This ain't the time to ask the Waffle House order.
No.
The Rock was
no.
even like, oh, dozen eggs, like, and he gave him the answer and he was nice enough, but like, just not the time.
No. That's what you get with wrestling
I
media.
smacked my arm too hard. I feel the smacks I did on my arm. I gotta bulk up. I gotta hit the Iron fucking Paradise or something.
You got to hit the RPC over here.
The RPC is crazy. Can I put the picture I took in the podcast?
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
says the Rocket Performance Center.
Of course you
Just stunning. When I walked down into the Rocket Performance Center, I couldn't believe it.
There's a RPC logo that was
Yeah.
photoshopped from the OTC logo, and then the Rocket Performance Center font is in like Samoan tattoo tribal. It's
Yeah.
sick.
If you're watching on YouTube, you could see it here or on Twitter. I've been uploading these things on Twitter now. I'm not
Yeah.
calling it X. I did just for you. I called one of them a PLE this, and I hated it the way it came out of my mouth. I just said PLE. It's a pay-per-view.
It's so I agree. Like I would rather call it a pay-per-view, but I think it would piss me off if I said pay-per-view and someone corrected me and said PLE. So I'd be like, whatever, I'm just calling it
Yeah.
PLE so no one checks me on that.
True.
I don't want to
When I
sound
said
like
I just hated the way it came out of my mouth. I think it was the first time I've said that out loud.
you know what it is, Bob? I think if I said pay-per-view, I wouldn't want a diehard wrestling fan to be like, oh, so he's not really like a
So he's like not up to date.
fan. Yeah.
Is that going to be the new
era.
like, hey, who's the WWF champ?
Yeah.
Is that going to be the new like one of those? Yeah.
That's in my mind, that's what it is.
Growing up, I remember that being a constant, like, not point of contention, but my older cousins or uncles or aunts, even whoever used to watch wrestling, they would ask me that as a kid. They'd be like, oh, who's the WWF champion? I'd immediately be like, it's WWE, and there's two of them. Do you want to know the Raw champion or the SmackDown champion? The World Heavyweight or the WWE? Because John Cena is the WWE, but Rey Mysterio is the World Heavyweight. And like, I would immediately go into the explanation. They'd be like, all right, kid. Like, is Shawn Michaels still wrestling? I'd be like, yeah. They'd be like, all right, yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
That was
That's
pretty much
basically I had to do that with Dallas in Arizona. He's like,
yeah.
so who's the WWF champion? And I was like, well, there's two. I was
Yeah.
like, there's a world heavyweight
There's
championship
one that
that's
people
like,
care about. There's one that
yeah,
they say is the also world champ. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I was like,
All right. Was
you
there
could be the
anything
world
else?
heavyweight champion and not even like be in like a big deal.
No.
Is there anything else?
Anything else wrestling was we didn't touch on? Everything from
Mm,
Elimination Chamber, I feel like we covered. I mean, it is crazy. I saw someone point this out that in 2025, Kofi Kingston and John Cena are both heels. Kofi Kingston was a career babyface until now.
yeah.
This is kind of the year pigs fly. Like for guys like us, John Cena is a heel. Oasis is back. Like imagine telling
Mm.
us that 10 years ago. Like 2025.
Punk is back.
Punk is back. Exactly. Kofi Kingston's a fucking heel. Next week, I'm going to be very excited to see one of my guys, Rey Mysterio, tornado tag against the New Day. It's Rey
Yeah.
Mysterio and Phoenix, or not Phoenix. Phoenix isn't even in the fucking company yet. Who's
Yeah,
the
he's
other
coming.
luchador he's with? Yeah, he's definitely coming. I just saw that this morning. He's like officially a free agent.
Yeah, and then the
Rey
reports were
Mysterio.
that it's not going to take long. Like he could be on the WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah. Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that next week. There's like a couple good matches. I think they're doing Jey Uso versus Kaiser maybe on the card. I think they're going to have something special planned for MSG. I don't know where we're sitting. We don't have our tickets yet.
AJ Styles and Logan Paul.
That's right. AJ Styles and Logan Paul. AJ also just said, I saw this morning, he's about to turn 48. He said he will be retired by the time he turns 50.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't got much AJ Styles left. That's not necessarily all that surprising to me, especially considering a slew of injuries recently. I don't want to say like his body's telling him slow down, but usually that's a wrestler's body telling you slow down.
Yeah. And I love AJ Styles, but he's in like Hall of Very Good. Like he'll be a WWE Hall of Famer, no doubt. But
No doubt.
like in terms of like tiers of Hall of Famers, he'll be Hall of Very Good in the sense that if he went away for a long time and came back, it's not the same pop as like the top tier guys.
No, and I think they almost doomed him with that Roman feud back in the day. AJ was so hot as a babyface, and they had him feud with Roman, and he put on some amazing matches with Roman. I think that was the time to try to put the title on him and try something, but that was when they were married to like Roman versus Brock every year at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like he could have been something. He also had matches like the one against Shinsuke at WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans that like really fell flat. He had some moments that were amazing, some moments that fell flat. A good career overall, obviously in the WWE, a great career for his entire TNA and NJPW. But like his WWE career, I think way better than anyone thought when he came in, because it felt like he was already towards the end of his career, even though he wasn't that old. It was just like, oh yeah, he was the TNA guy forever. He was TNA's John Cena.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, like babyface AJ Styles versus heel John Cena, we need to run that back before they're both retired, because they had an amazing feud. That match where Cena wins 16 against him at the Royal Rumble, go back and rewatch that if you haven't in a while. That's like a perfect match. Their match at SummerSlam, I was lucky enough to be there for. Perfect match. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I also feel like AJ and Logan, like I was wondering what they were going to do with Logan Paul at WrestleMania. That makes sense to do a WrestleMania match between them two. Maybe throw another person in too. Maybe make that a multi-man. I'm hoping one of the matches is a multi-tiered ladder match. I feel like I love that as a WrestleMania tradition. Maybe the tag match will be that. I don't know.
They got to do some. There's no gimmick matches thus far.
Not yet. Yeah. We need a couple gimmicks. And I love that we're going to steel cage match between Punk and Seth next week. I love a good steel cage match.
Classic.
Usually, when you show up, you know, it was the best back in the day when you show up to a Raw and a steel cage match isn't announced.
It's hanging up there.
Yeah. Oh, it's the best. You're like, oh, who is this for? You know, you're getting something special. Mm-hmm. There's nothing better than like a live wrestling show. I was also saying, well, we did the rundown yesterday, me, Clem, and Large. And I've said this before, but when wrestling is at its best, I would put it up against anything else in my life for my personal enjoyment. Like that Cena heel turn, I enjoyed as much as the best scene in a Best Picture nominee. You know, like that is like, and I'm sure there's people, not people that made it 57 minutes into a From the Top Rope, but I'm sure there's people that would be like, you have trash taste, whatever. there's just nothing like the live crowd experiencing a heel turn they never saw coming. Like the faces of it's fun to rewatch it and just watch the faces of everyone in the crowd when they cut to that first mean Cena face and he's like activated like the Winter Soldier. Like there's nothing like it.
It's also when you watch these documentaries that are designed to recruit non-wrestling fans into wrestling fans, they will all describe, yeah, like there's goofy stuff and there's a lot of stuff that is pointless and it doesn't work. There's a lot of filler, but there's also great storytelling. And with that long-term storytelling, once in a great while, you will get that one moment that just blows your fucking brain. And that was certainly one of them. I think it's not the same because it's not like it was, I guess it was a babyface turn, but the last time that I felt like, oh my God, I can't believe what I'm watching right now was Sammy hitting Roman in the back with the chair at the Rumble in 22.
100%. That was the best segment since then, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, because now you're telling long-term stories and then you finally get the payoff. And sometimes like the Cena heel turn is essentially a 23-year story with the payoff becoming his heel turn.
It's been asked for, it's been talked about.
He's directly said
23, it. He's done the fucking little heel turn thing.
Yeah, he's like a little heel
turn. Heel. Yeah. Crazy. We are in a great timeline. This is a fun timeline to be living in. Fucking WrestleMania season is on fire. Oasis is like 122 days away. I can't fucking wait for the remainder of 2022 and just WrestleMania in general. I am so excited for WrestleMania this year. I'm so excited that it's 2 nights. I was kind of against that for a long time. Like, no, WrestleMania has to be a 1-night special thing. Now I'm at the like, oh, it has to be 2 nights. Maybe make it 3.
3rd night.
Yeah. All right. That was From the Top Rope. We'll be back if there's any emergency breaking news. We'll have to do a pre-WrestleMania podcast, of course, but let us know when you want us. I like when people kind of throw up the From the Top Rope signal. Like we get the tweets right away when something huge happens on WWE, whatever it may be. They're like, hey, is Jared available for media? I'm like, I'll be in touch.
I always am, Bob. I always am. If ever there's something big popping off, this is the only place that I will go with my thoughts.
I love it. All right. We'll talk to you next time.
See ya.